So Spider-Man No Way Home came out last month in movie theaters all around the world. I never had the chance to see it. I was able to see it last night. And throughout the whole build-up from when the movie was announced, people kept having high expectations, like what are we going to see, especially when all the classic villains were coming and they were like, yo, is Toby Maguire and Andrew Garfield going to be in it? Everyone was sharing memes. Everyone was doing the whole Bully Maguire cosplay and saying what they were going to do when they go to the premiere. I wanted to go opening night, but unfortunately I had to work. And I also was not able to go because of COVID situations in my area. So I was able to see it last night on an illegal movie website. And I gotta say that Spider-Man No Way Home subverted my expectations in every way. So visually, the movie was very amazing, whether it was from Electro's little zapping to the explosions to cars being thrown everywhere to destruction all over the city, everything. This movie was absolutely amazing visually. The score was pretty decent as well. The acting, like, I've been very critical. A lot of people that I know personally can attest to this, of Tom Holland's acting and Tom Holland as a Spider-Man in general. Ever since Captain America Civil War, because I've grown up with Toby Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and both of those Spider-Men I think were very, very believable, and I think it's just because of childhood nostalgia. Like, I started watching Spider-Man movies when I was 10. I actually started out with Andrew Garfield. That's probably why I was able to tolerate him more than Tom Holland. And, you know, I never gave Tobey Maguire's movies a chance until like about 2 years later when I saw the first Spider-Man movie. And both of those Spider-Men were very amazing. They had good origin stories, and maybe that was another part of it. The origin stories between those two Spider-Men were very interesting to watch, and Tom Holland, we never really got that. He's just shoehorned in Civil War, and we're just like, oh, this is the new Spider-Man. And I just found his voice kind of annoying. Like, I watched Homecoming in theaters, and I watched Far From Home on Netflix, and both of those movies were okay. Homecoming wasn't really that enjoyable for me. Far From Home was decent. I liked Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. But other than that, I mean, those two other Tom Holland movies were not really my taste. So if we didn't get the villains from the classic movies, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Electro, and the Lizard, I probably would have never watched this movie. I don't know. Or maybe I would have waited until it was on Netflix or at a very cheap sale. But I gotta say that even if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield weren't in this movie, I actually enjoyed it. I liked the little callbacks to the old movies, like Willem Dafoe saying, "I'm something of a scientist myself." I think that was a very good callback. I love Doctor Strange's performance, even though he's not really the main focus and is absent for most of the second half. I liked his parts in it as well. And Aunt May, I mean, definitely not as good as the OG Aunt May, but, you know, I think she played a pretty good role, a decent ass kicker, but, and a very supportive Aunt May as well. Happy Hogan by Jon Favreau, obviously a good side character. But yeah, so I think that's enough about like very generic things about this film. Let's talk about the plot. So obviously, as the trailers brought up, this took place after the events of Far From Home, where Mysterio, or Jake Gyllenhaal, discloses Spider-Man's identity. Spider-Man goes up to Doctor Strange and is sort of like, hey, you know, everyone's all harassing me. I want to make sure that everyone forgets who I'm Spider-Man because my life is all hell. My friend's life is all hell. Like, apparently because MJ and Ned Spider-Man's girlfriend and best friend, know that Peter's Spider-Man, they all don't get a college scholarship. So Peter's like, this is really fucking up my friends and family's life. So I want to make sure everyone forgets. But then he realizes that means everyone. That means MJ. That means Ned. That means Aunt May. That means Happy. Everyone forgets. So he tampers with the spell like a lot. He's just like, okay, wait a minute. MJ is gonna forget. Oh no, make sure Ed remembers. Ned, sorry. Make sure Happy does. Aunt May, and then it just tampers so much that the spell goes to apeshit. So now everyone who knows Peter Parker's Spider-Man from every universe is gonna come and fuck everything up, apparently. So, we're introduced to the villains. We're introduced to Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, Electro Lizard, all of them. And, they're like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Especially when Doc Ock tells Green Goblin, hey, you're dead. And Sandman's like, well, you're dead too, Doc Ock. Like, all that shit. And it's just very confusing for all of them. And then Spider-Man's like, wait a minute, if these people die while fighting Spider-Man, why can't we just cure them so that way they don't die? I sort of like that because that shows that Tom Holland is not really that heartless and thinks that if they change them, that means they don't die, which I was kind of intrigued by. I wanted to know how that was going to work. But as we all know, since we need villains in a Spider-Man movie, he ends up not curing everyone. He only cures Doc Ock, though. And the trailers were portraying that Doc Ock was going to be the main villain, but I kind of like the fact that the Green Goblin was the main villain. I think Willem Dafoe was a great choice to be the main villain. Like, in Spider-Man 1, I wanted to see more of him, and it was unfortunate that he died in the final act. I've always thought that if we had more Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, especially since the Green Goblin was supposed to be the main character and Spider-Man's arch nemesis, the worst enemy, I think if Willem Dafoe survived the first movie and maybe died in the second or in the first half of the third movie, we would have seen more of Willem Dafoe shining. But thankfully, in No Way Home, Willem Dafoe was able to shine. I liked Jamie Foxx as Electro as well, and Alfred something as Doc Ock. I don't know his last name, but those ones really shined. I didn't really care much for the Lizard or Sandman in this movie, but it was good to see them. And like I said, Tom Holland's acting sort of improved in this movie. I was really skeptical of Tom Holland, but when Aunt May dies, we got to really see Tom Holland be so miserable. And of course, the rumors were all true. Andrew Garfield and Toby Maguire are in this movie. Now, a lot of people were sort of questioning, like, would Toby and Andrew overshadow Tom in this movie? And they didn't. They're not the main characters, and you know what? People may have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it, because this is supposed to be Tom's movie. This is not supposed to be Toby's. This is not supposed to be Andrew's. This is Tom Holland's. And, of course, the scene where the three Spider-Men are all swinging into action, and even their banter. I like the banter between the three Spider-Men and them talking about their experiences. For example, Toby fighting Venom, Tom fighting Thanos, and just Andrew being like, I'm lame. I only fought a Russian guy in a rhinoceros suit. I've always wanted to see three Spider-Men at once, and it combined three generations spanning 20 years all together, and I think it was absolutely amazing. Like, no pun intended, of course. And the final scene, like, of course, when I said the visuals were good, it was very amazing, and and they ended up curing all the villains and everything. And I also like the little callbacks where Tom's all upset with Aunt May dying, and then Toby and Andrew are like, wait, we lost Uncle Ben, Andrew lost Gwen Stacy, Toby lost Harry, a lot of those things. And I liked how they all connected. Everything connected between all three of them. They were able to bond over it. and they had teamwork and all that. And also Doc Ock becoming a good guy and helping them in the final battle. It was great. That meant Doc Ock wasn't completely wasted in this movie. I thought Doc Ock was pretty good in this movie. I thought Green Goblin was very good in this movie. Electro, decent. Sandman and Lizard didn't really have that much time to shine, but we had enough villains in this movie. It was all over the place. And in the end, with all the emotions, with Tom Holland being like, wait a minute, just make everyone forget. Even my friends, even everybody. I don't care. Like, I don't want the universe all fucked up. I don't want a whole invasion. It was very touching, especially since I was critical of Tom Holland. And, Zendaya and Jacob as Ned, I've never really cared for them. But in that final scene where they were all emotional, I actually was pretty sad for Tom, like, making that sacrifice. But sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do for the universe. And yeah, that whole ending was actually very sad. Everyone forgot who Peter Parker was, and I'm very intrigued on how they might go forward with Peter Parker if they are making a new Spider-Man trilogy. I think they said that they were gonna do, following Tom Holland with college life and everything. So it's gonna be very interesting on how the whole Peter thing's going on. Like, is he still gonna try to convince Ned and MJ that he is Spider-Man, trying to make them remember, or is he just gonna find a new love interest, new best friend? Maybe we're introduced to a Gwen Stacy in their universe, or Harry Osborn in their universe. Maybe, we don't know. But Spider-Man No Way Home was very good, pretty decent plot, good connections to 3 generations. Not every character was wasted. Even characters who didn't get that much time to shine got time to shine. I loved Andrew Garfield's redemption, where he was able to save MJ because he wasn't able to save Gwen Stacy. And, it wasn't really too focused on Toby and Andrew. The fans got what they wanted. I think it was a very decent movie. Definitely my favorite of the Tom Holland ones. Definitely in my top 2 or top 3 Spider-Man movies of all time. Sorry, nothing can top Spider-Man 2. And yeah, I think Spider-Man No Way Home gets a very big pass for me. I was excited from beginning to end. Well, maybe not beginning, because the whole Tom Holland thing getting popular, I think it was kind of slow. But after we were introduced to the villains, I was entertained throughout. And yeah, so definitely buying it when it comes out on Blu-ray or digital. And yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home gets a good thumbs up from me. I recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. I recommend it to everyone who likes Spider-Man, anyone who wants a good time to watch a good superhero flick. Definitely my favorite superhero movie of all time, excluding Spider-Man 2. And yeah, that concludes my Spider-Man No Way Home review. I might continue the movie reviews. It depends on what movie you guys want me to review. If you want me to review a movie, leave it down in the comments below. I might get to it. And yeah, sorry for not a lot of uploads on my main channel. This is the first upload of 2022. So yeah, I might focus more on YouTube in 2022. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to put post notifications on. Leave video ideas in the comments below. And yeah, I think that's been it. Enough rambling on. This has been Willym. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.